Hello and welcome to another episode of Mark and Mark in the Morning.
FinanceSchools.net's homeroom.
And today we're going to do a little bit, something we've done before, but some new features. How about it, Mark?
We like new features.
New features. Every time we have something that we've done, but there's always being something added all the time. How about it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't stop progress.
No, you can't. Yeah. And that's one of the great things. So we're going to work with StudyMate again. Some of you are probably very familiar with StudyMate, one of the great interactive tools,
yes.
And also a mobile app that's available too. Yep. But there are some new features with StudyMate Mobile, or StudyMate in general within the Blackboard environment that you might not have seen recently.
Right, yeah. There's two main features we're going to go over today. I think one most important one is probably the test bank network.
Yes, this really can be very powerful in the future. We're really excited about this.
Yes. And then there's also a new resources tab, which is like tutorials, help, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So you want to just dive in, take a look?
Yeah, let's just dive in. If you've never worked with StudyMate, we have a full Mark and Mark episode on StudyMate, how to create them and so forth. Yes. Again, use that help button at the top, right? There's always resources and videos on the help. But you can always find the StudyMate tool under the Add Interactive Tools because it is a tool, not part of Blackboard.
Yeah, building block.
It's a building block, so it's another additional tool built into the system that we've added. So, Mark, you have a StudyMate there. We're going to go ahead and click on it.
All right.
And of course, since Mark is a teacher, he's going to go right to the Edit tab where he could add either facts, terms, definitions, or multiple choice questions. Yep. The student would come directly to the View tab where they could play the games, the interactive games. But you'll see two new tabs now in StudyMate. If you haven't noticed them yet, what are they, Mark?
Well, there's Test Bank Network. There's resources. But let's just take a look at the Test Bank Network here. Test Bank Network is essentially an attempt from responders to work with publishers of textbooks to get the questions out of those textbooks into your studying activities.
So vocabulary words, questions, whatever it may be. That'd be McGraw-Hill, Pearson, lots of different networks, and which is really great because this is taking your existing content that you might use in your textbook series and being able to put it right into the Blackboard environment without having to recreate it.
Yeah, exactly. So think about any textbook that you might have, you know, as Mark said, there's lots of vocabulary, there's lots of tests in there. Remember, StudyMate also does multiple choice questions too, so there's lots of different options there.
But there's an authentication process to this, right, Mark?
Essentially what you need to do is you need to prove to responders that you have a legally owned copy of that textbook, that you have purchased that textbook. And what you'll find when you get to this test bank screen is it asks you for like file codes, passwords. Might be a little bit confusing
Things that you don't have or you don't know what they're about.
Yeah, but don't get thrown off by it. We'll show you the resources tab here in a second where it shows you anyway.
Sure.
But you'll notice here that there's an option where it's like, click here to search for the textbooks. And you're going to go to that. It'll take you to Respondus' website. And here you can go in and search for your textbook. Now, what Respondus have told us is that they're always trying to bring more textbooks on all the time. And so you may or may not find your textbook, but if you don't, you know, don't lose heart. It may come and may show up at some point.
Yeah, and we're also told that it's pretty much for the higher level textbooks at this time, your high school, your AP type courses, honors courses and so forth. And so again, being an elementary teacher, that's a little disheartening to me because I would really, you know, like to have it. But again, they're working constantly, and from what we understand, they're adding a textbook like every day too.
And what we always say is if you don't find something, you know, call your textbook rep, ask them. You know, I've got this tool called StudyMate.
Yeah.
Can you make it happen? You know, like that's the best way to go rather than just being like, ugh, and just throwing it out. So I'll just pick a publisher just to make it
Well,
easy.
And just looking at that list real quick though, too, that's the publishers they're working with. It doesn't mean they're going to have your textbook series, but they are working with those publishers. If you do not see your publisher on that list, then probably they're not working at this time with that publisher. And it has to do with copyright and all the legal jargon that we don't know about. And so we don't really need to worry about it. But they're working with a lot of textbook companies.
And
again,
some big names in here. I mean, McGraw-Hill, Pearson, you know, these are good-sized names. But what you would generally do is you would probably search for your specific textbook. I just selected all the textbooks from one provider to make it easy. And then I can look down the list here. So let's say I'm doing criminal justice, an introduction. I can come to this screen, and here is where I actually fill in my information. So you're going to go and put in your information that associates you with that textbook. So it's going to ask you things like, what school do you work for? What's the address of the school? What phone number can we contact you on? What's your email address? You're going to fill all that in, and you're going to submit that to Respondus. They say about a 24-hour turnaround.
Correct.
and you'll get an email back from them, and that email will contain the information that you need
to put in there. And once you put that in once, Mark, that's the only time you have to put it in.
Yep, exactly.
So, like, for example, if you go to Unit 2 and you want to create another StudyMate activity, and you want the questions from Unit 2 in that textbook, it'll actually show that you're authenticated already. Again, that's the great thing about the integration component, that you'll be able to then keep creating. So this is kind of a one-time only deal. Once you're associated with your textbook, you fill that in, you'll be able to use it throughout that course.
Yeah, and what will happen is once you have put this information in, now when you come to the Test Bank Network tab, you'll literally be able to say, pick my textbook, pick my chapter. It'll show you the list of the materials that are available from that chapter. You pick which ones you want to use, and then that'll throw them into your StudyMate activity. Now at that point, it's as if you created them yourself.
That's correct, and you can edit and modify them.
Yeah, you can even have students do it if you wanted to. So it's pretty good for that. So that's how you would do that, but if you're not sure, they do have this new resources tab too.
Correct.
Right, so we can hop onto that and take a look.
And the resources tab contains all the resources basically for StudyMate, whether it be the test bank generator that we're talking about, or just how to actually create a StudyMate activity, or what StudyMate is, or a little demo of it. And you can see all the actual movies that they have there, including StudyMate Mobile for your mobile devices.
That's actually a good one because StudyMate works a little differently from device to device.
Correct.
So if you've got a BlackBerry or an Android phone, you're like, I'm not sure how it works, go take a look at that and it'll walk you through it all.
Yeah. Basically, the only app available right now is for the iOS devices, devices, your Apple devices, but it will work on the other ones. You just have to access it really through the web-based interface.
And the thing that's nice about StudyMate too is, in addition to the resources tab, you'll find these little explain links that are like everywhere throughout it. So if you're not sure, point to explain, go to resources, or if you still can't get help, go to help and let us know, and we'll help you.
Yeah, so great thing about StudyMate now is it has, they're working with textbook companies to have pre-populated content.
That'll be nice.
I don't have to create it. It comes along with everything that I do. Awesome stuff. So, hey, I want to thank everyone for watching another episode of Mark and Mark in the Morning.
BlendedSchools.net's homeroom.
Have a great day. Study hard.